Welcome back to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I'm continuing my Ray Bradbury series again. Recently had to do a bit of a fix at the beginning of my Ray Bradbury bibliography. I had some dates wrong, and so that kind of reordered things. And so I had already done the pendulum and the record. Those were supposed to be 3 and 4, and those now moved down to the record is number 8 and the pendulum is number 11 because of new information I got about when those were actually published. And so some other things move up in the bibliography. So this is going back then and redoing what is, to the best of my knowledge, the true third work by Ray Bradbury, published in January 1939. And it was published in a magazine called The Journal in January 1939, which is, I don't know anything about that magazine. It's got to be somebody's fan magazine being published, and most likely being published in Los Angeles. I have a copy of that short story in a book called The Earliest Bradbury, which is a new, relatively new hardbound book. You can order new copies of this. I did, from the publisher. I believe these are print on demand, if I'm not mistaken. And find the publisher online. First Fandom Experience LLC. And you can purchase this, not exactly cheap, but you can purchase this from them. And it's, if you're a Ray Bradbury fan, it's worth it. You really should do it. You should get a hold of this book and read through it. It's very interesting. And the story I'm talking about, his third piece, is titled Los Angeles League to Erect Hugh 20-Story Sciencefiction Temple. Okay, the word Hugh, of course, and this book reproduces from that journal the exact page, mimeograph page, and it really is Hugh 20-Story Science Fiction Temple, not Scientifiction Temple. I got that wrong. I gotta fix that. I'm assuming it was supposed to be huge, and Hugh is a misprint. But the story is, it's considered a short story, but it's really more like a joke article. It's like it's supposed to be factual, but it isn't. Nothing. This science fiction temple was never built. So, it's just, like it says in here, it's a foul news report published in The Journal. And it's a description of an imaginary science fiction temple or like a museum that the Los Angeles SF League was joking about building. Actually, Forrest Ackerman kind of created something like that with his collection of film memorabilia that filled. I've never been to any of them, and I don't know if they're still there, but it reportedly filled 3 mansions out in Los Angeles. He just collected everything. I mean, special effects models and costumes and posters and whatnot from films over the years. And a lot of that was talked about in Famous Monsters of Filmland. So he did have a lot of the old science fiction magazines and a lot of science fiction memorabilia as part of that. So he kind of went ahead and created something like that. But this news article / story was just a joke. And it's purely tongue-in-cheek. It's purely fan writing, so it's not very professional. It's a one-page thing, so it's not very long. I can't recommend it to anybody. Honestly, I can't possibly recommend it. The only people who'd be interested in that particular piece would be the Bradbury purist that has to read it all. And then you probably already have a copy of this book. There are things in there that if you're just a Bradbury enthusiast, you don't necessarily have to read everything, but you are interested in Bradbury. It's a very good book for that purpose too. There's just tons of interesting facts from Bradbury's earliest days, starting out as a fan and a writer. So that's Los Angeles League to Erect Hugh 20-Story Temple. If you've read it, please leave your comments about it in the comment section of the video. I'm very interested in hearing other people's perspectives. And like I say, that one had been further down the list. It's been moved up to number 3 in the bibliography. Number 4 in the bibliography, published in March of 1939, is titled Unpublished Script for the Coming Tarzan Picture. I don't think it's serious, but at any rate, I can't come up with anything connected to this title. I've found this title listed, and there's a reference to it in Futuria Fantasia. There's a reference to this story, but the actual story or article or whatever it really is, I can't come up with anything for it, so I can't read it, I can't talk about it, I can't report on number 4 here. So my next one that I'll be doing is going to be another fan short story from 1939 titled Mummy Dust. And I hope you'll come back and join me for that and all the other Ray Bradbury and other content that we do here on Telltale Books.